Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always, told how to voice a radio. So today we've got news of more cards that are coming around from Phantasmal Flames. More places have gone and given us reveals from Phantasmal Flames. And let's start off with one of my personal favorite cards in the entire set. It is Empoleon EX. The entire Empoleon EX line has been revealed by the lovely Jamie Jo Art over on Instagram, and she is one of the other Pokemon partners, and I can confirm she is in fact absolutely lovely. But what about Empoleon EX? How do we feel about Empoleon EX? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a lot of good stuff coming in here. To have a quick look at the pre-evolutions, because who doesn't love Piplup? We've got single energy on Piplup, search for a supporter card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Not great, not a reason to play the card, but a handy little bonus nonetheless. We've then got Prinplup, that for free energy does 70 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. And I will say, this is actually sneaky kind of cool, because what we've got here is a Pokemon that can attack for a single energy. Now, admittedly, it is for an ignition energy, but that totally counts. That's one energy attachment. And 70 HP is like a crucial number for evolving basics and for support Pokemon. So actually, in that regard, yeah, this could actually be like legitimately genuinely good. I'm not saying you want to use it all the time. I'm not saying it's going to be your primary goal or anything like that. But I absolutely am saying that with an ignition energy, you can start sniping stuff off of the bench. And that is none too shabby. Now, in terms of Empoleon itself, what we've got here is 320 HP. And an ability that says prevent all effects of attacks used by your opponent's Pokemon done to this Pokemon. Now, damage is not an effect. That's very, very important. But it stops effects of attacks. So, you know how Absol's getting like a lot of hype right now? Yeah. That can't get an automatic one-hit KO on this, because an automatic one-hit KO is an effect of an attack, and this doesn't take effects of attacks. Oh, yeah, that's pretty gosh darn good. But also special conditions, or removing energy, things along those lines. Special conditions, removing energy, instant one-hit KOs, things along those lines. That's the kind of stuff we're talking about here. You're immune to all of it as Empoleon. That is frankly a very big deal. But then we've got an attack for free metal energy that does 210, and then during your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes 60 less damage from attacks. Oh. Yeah, that's a big number. When you're already starting with 320 HP, that gives you an effective HP of 380, and that's if your opponent wants to try and get a one-hit KO. If they've got to hit you more than once, then all of a sudden that 60 keeps building up. You become a very difficult Pokemon to KO. And let's not forget that just in Mega Evolution like 5 minutes ago, we got Iron Defender, which says that your metal Pokemon take 30 less damage from attacks. And you could combine this with, for instance, an A-Spec like Hero's Cape. And all of a sudden you have got a very, very, very beefy Pokemon here. And remember that you're not affected by effects of attacks. So things that your opponent might try and do to get around the bulk here, things like using special conditions, things like trying to get, automatic KOs and things like that, they aren't going to work here because you're immune to all of that. And this combination of being immune to special conditions, having high HP, reducing damage done by your opponent's Pokemon, you add all of that together and you're a very hard Pokemon to KO. Yes, I know 210 isn't a great number. It's not KOing too much, like it's getting weaker EXs, but it's not getting too much. But then again, you're basically KOing anything while being extremely difficult to KO. I think we can add all this up and go, hang on a second, this is a very, very tasty new EX. So yeah, I got great reveals. I loved my reveals, and I'm very happy with them. But I'm still a little bit jealous that Jamie Jo got to show you Empoleon, and do go check out her Instagram. Seriously, the art on there is redonkulous. But they're not the only cards that have gone and been revealed here, because bisafans.de, a German site, has gone and shared with us Mismagius EX. I love Mismagius EX. I think it is a very fun card. I also acknowledge that it's an awkward card to use. It's one of those that came up a lot in the FAQ from Japan that I showed you the other day. But I'm telling you, there is enough here that is super interesting that is going to make some people think twice. And that is very interesting indeed. So we got an ability here that says, if this Pokemon is active and your opponent's active Pokemon switches to the bench, the new active Pokemon is now confused. And there's been a bunch of rulings for this over in Japan, but essentially, was this active when the new Pokemon came up? And did the Pokemon that was there before go to the bench, as opposed to, for instance, going to the hand, or just getting removed from play some other way? If the answer to both those questions is yes, then the incoming Pokemon is confused. And I kind of love it. Because the thing is, it doesn't matter how the Pokemon goes back to the bench. That's very important. It doesn't have to be a switch or a retreat. It could be anything you like. As long as the Pokemon goes to the bench, so your opponent can't go, well, if switching's out, I'm going to retreat. Nah, mate, that doesn't work. So this is going to be super annoying. There's going to be a lot of confusion running around, and that is going to make life very, very awkward for your opponent. The attack here is 2 energy, 150, and you may draw until you got 6 cards in your hand. I like the draw power, incidentally. I do really enjoy the fact that we can be drawing here. That's lovely. Mostly here, if I'm honest with you, I'm just excited about the fact that we're getting confusion. And that's what you're really focusing in on here. No, the attack isn't brilliant, but in theory, you don't need the attack to be brilliant because the confusion is what's going to win your games. Your opponent is going to sit there being confused, and that means that you can afford to 2-hit KO because of the whole your opponent is confused thing. Love it. Big fan. Don't like it as much as Empoleon, but it is very, very cool. And actually, that same site did go and show us the new Mimikyu as well, so maybe we should have a look at the Mimikyu. And the Mimikyu is kind of interesting, because of course, Phantasmal Flames for us is largely, not entirely, but largely just a translation of Inferno X over in Japan. This card was not from Inferno X over in Japan. But don't get too excited. I'm sure most of you, if you think for a second, can realise where this came from. Well, it was a Mega Diancie deck, wasn't it? That's where it came from, ladies and gentlemen. We know that those Mega decks from Japan are coming over here as part of our set. So, yeah, it's just from there, which is kind of cool. It's all right. The card itself is, I think, thoroughly unimpressive would be a very kind way to put it. But single energy, 20 damage, no. And single energy, search your deck for a basic Pokemon, put it on your bench, shuffle your deck. We got a million different Pokemon over the past forever that search out basic Pokemon, and sometimes they search out more than one, or sometimes they only search out one, but there's another attack with which you compare it, which actually makes you very, very happy. It's not what we've got here. What we've got here is just an ordinary, everyday, run-of-the-mill, search out a single Pokemon and get on with your life. It's not ideal, frankly. It's not a great Pokemon. We like Mimikyu, but this is very much a classic. Okay, I see why it was in a pre-built deck kind of Pokemon. But I like Mismagius EX and I love Empoleon EX. So now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about all of this in the comment section. Tell me if you think these can be used, and I will provide links to those sites I have revealed them in the comment section, so do make sure you go and give them a click. Give them some love for sharing these reveals. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.